wasn't really a complicated one, but yeah, it was just it really is just one of those so obvious that I go back to honestly that why the hell did FURIA not ban that hero? But they chose the SD and the OD instead, and we'll see if it backfires or not. But feeling like they can deal with this, but now it goes back to the point that even in the laning phase, the Darkseer is going to be annoying. So they end up going Doom, funny enough, and that might be an answer to where they might just try to run the Doom against the Darkseer, because Doom actually does good against the Darkseer, not as good against Lifestealer, and instead maybe go for even like an aggressive trial lane into the Lifestealer I could see from FURIA.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea because Rubik and the Wraith King together in that lane, you know, Stun after Sun, the Fate Bolt, very annoying. And I think they could pressure the Lifesteal, and the Doom could just, you know, lane against the Darkseer. He doesn't mind CSing under tower. He has that Devour, the innate regen. He can even, you know, if Darkseer puts the Iron Shell on an aggressive creep, he could just devour that one. So yeah, I really like your idea. Run an aggro tri-lane against the Lifestealer, leave the Doom solo against the Darkseer. But Infamous, they might not quite let FURIA do that, if that is the case, what they're aiming for.
Yep, that's Matt, exactly. Then you start playing the musical lanes, and who knows where the game ends up from there. So we'll see what the laning phase looks like. Still have 3 more picks in total to go before we actually are even going to know what's going on there. As apologies, I'm trying to find something real quickly. Okay. Got these fancy new graphics that even as us remote casters, we are able to take advantage of. So it's a cool tool that BT has provided that I believe Pitmunkle and others are actually behind it. And give us some freedom to have some fancy graphics. It just does take a little bit of editing, though, so that's what I was doing right there, making sure we're good. Anyway, side thing. Jakiro, 4th pick. Okay, Jakiro. Interesting. Good against Wraith King. Certainly good against him.
Yeah, I mean, Jakiro is just a very solid hero in lane at all. Great on the 5 position. Has the draw breath to slow people down. And that slow, you know, comboing with the Lifestealer might just allow him to put in a few more right clicks and get a kill. You have so much with the open wounds as well. And also, just think of the combo with the Darkseer. You know, vacuum into Ice Path, have the Macro Pyre on top of that. It's a really nice combo for that fight. And it means they are thinking for the last pick, their mid laner, but FURIA, they do have the final pick of the overall draft, so whatever they take here on Infamous, they might be countered.
That is true.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm trying to think the chances. No, we wouldn't see a mid Jakiro, would we? There's no reason for it, I guess. So the one thing with the Jakiro pick, though, that throws me off a little bit is the idea that, yeah, Rubik's spell steal, it gives Rubik actually a pretty good spell steal candidate that he may want. So as good as Jakiro is against a hero like a Wraith King, that is something that they are giving up in return. They are going to last pick the Ember Spirit, though, with that final pick into a Doom. A little curious about that as well, but I feel confident.
So, yeah, I was going to mention this hero as he made it this far into the draft. You know, we've been seeing this hero picked up a lot earlier or either banned out, so I'm surprised he made it this far. And it's just, you know, another hero who's able to output damage with the help of the Darkseer. And you know, it's a classic combination, Flame Guard as well as that Iron Shell. The AoE magic damage will just be absolutely immense here. But as you say, they do have decent disable for this Ember Spirit. You know, you have Rubik, you have Static Storm, you have Doom. This doesn't feel like an easy Ember Spirit game over here on Infamous, so he might go down a lot if he's not careful.
Yeah, it does feel like they overlooked that slightly with the final pick Ember Spirit, but they are going to go it in the end and trying to work around it. A certainly good candidate for Lifestealer as well, but okay, we're going to have back-to-back Invoker games. It's going to be Mini again on the Invoker. Obviously, he is a very comfortable Invoker player. This is... I'm trying to think. I do think Quas Wex is once again the play. Tornado's actually really good this game. There's a lot to purge.
Yeah, I can just imagine him level 1 Tornado in the lane. Ember Spirit tries using the Flame Guard, instantly removed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Quas Wex is kind of cool. Because, yeah, once again, you know, should have damage coming in from RDO. So yeah, but we'll see. I assume Mini a level 25 Invoker, he can go for both builds. So it's whatever the side of Furia need. And I am a bit worried about this Ember Spirit. I liked the rest of the Infamous draft. You know, the Spirit Breaker with the Doxia. It's a classic. You know, you can even surge in the lifesteal when he's right-clicking down heroes. But I think this is going to be a really hard game for the Ember Spirit, and that's what has me doubting Infamous a tiny bit here.
Trying to think. Yeah, with the Invoker now into the matchup against Ember Spirit, we're stressing how it seems like Invoker actually could have a pretty good time. I do agree. It's certainly going to be not the slipperiest game for an Ember Spirit. That's what you like with the hero, of course. The lack of lockdown on the other side, well, that's where he benefits from. I go back to Jakiro. As good as he is against Wraith King, you are against a Rubik who wouldn't mind stealing plenty of Jakiro's abilities. So it's almost like Infamous went more of a we're just going to draft what we want to do draft rather than worrying about what FURIA was doing. And again, I love their start. It made so much sense. The fact they even got the Darkseer with the other two was just crazy. Yeah, the finish is my concern as well. So I would lean towards FURIA. Sounds like we both do. But that's why they play the game, they say. And anything can certainly happen. Both teams are 0-1 again coming into this match. So every single loss does start to add up that much more as 4 of the 8 teams advance on to the next stage, a double elimination playoff.
Yeah, and Infamous, if I'm not wrong, they're one of the invited teams who didn't have to go through the open qualifiers. So, you know, you might think that they're slightly stronger, but I have to say these open qualifier teams so far, they've even if they haven't won like Furia, they've still put up a decent show. So, yeah, this game looking pretty even, and I'm excited once this pause ends to get underway.
Yeah, all right. That's another thing, but. To be clear as well, Infamous is actually Team Hamburguesa. They were formerly known as Hamburguesa. They were the ones that qualified for the minor this last time around from South America. So, Infamous just signed them after they dropped their Epicenter roster, which is now Team Ham minus Black there, of course. And so a lot of roster shuffling going on pre-TI qualifiers. Who would have thought? It's kind of just what to expect at this point, but. That's what happens. But the point is for Infamous, just because they're under a new title, they have been playing together for a bit now and even have had some decent success. So I do think they deserve that invite, absolutely. But you are right. I mean, this is one of the more unknown what's going to happen regions, I think, of them all for these TI9 qualifiers, especially in terms of which teams do you really value over the others. It certainly can be a contest between many of these teams.
Yeah, a really deep smoke here by the side of Furia. I think they might have been hoping to catch someone out on this high ground, but instead they're just going to have to settle for the deep, deep wards that they've been able to place.
I should clarify something. I believe my teams are backwards, right? Because Furia is on the Radiant, so yeah, my apologies. Let me swap that around. There we go. All right, like I said, we're still messing with this tool here. As cool as it is. Okay. So yeah, getting those deep wards down. Yeah, very deep one indeed. Placed by the Radiant side, but not going to result in much right now, at least. Rubik, Heiko is going to just chill middle lane. We'll see if he's patient enough to maybe get a snipe on that courier. He does have brown boots as well. So he's ready to run down the courier if he finds it. We'll see if Ember Spirit picks up on that.
And we're witnessing classic Darkseer play. This is what we saw the entirety of the last patch. Double Iron Shell, kill the first wave under the tower. And by the way, we were correct. It looks like they are aggro laning into the lifestealer and leaving the Doom to his own devices.
Oh yeah, they had to do this. Again, it's his Doom. He can do this. Like he's more than fine with dealing with this. He can last down to the tower. As you mentioned, he has a Devour to take out the Iron Shell creep even. So this is a matchup that he
courier
likes.
in the mid lane.
Is it dead? No, we couldn't get it off.
No, he missed the last hit. He got blocked by the creeps.
Oh. That's a little lucky for the Dire team, but unfortunate for Rubik, we'll say. As far as sniping that courier. Yeah, he was chilling there. So he does TP to the top lane and has some regen working. Or we'll try to at least, but it is going to be that aggressive trialing as we go back to. Again, just let Doom do his thing bottom lane, get some levels. So that does mean these supports are likely going to be underleveled between Rubik and Disruptor. So we'll see how that looks for FURIA. as the game moves on. But it also means Lifestealer may have a little bit of a struggle. Granted, with Rage, I think he's actually okay still in this supporting cast that he's up against.
Yeah, it looks like he was forced to take the level on Rage. Obviously, you know, you usually like to have the Feast just so you're able to sustain a little bit longer in the lane. But because he doesn't have that innate sustain, you know, these right clicks, they are, you know, not that much from the supports, but they will start to add up. But hit level 2, now he has the Rage, able to finally get some farm. And look who's rotated to the top. It's Schofield.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was the greatest of charges. He's going to take a lot of damage as a response, so I guess he causes a bit of chaos in the end and doesn't die, but yeah, a little scary there for how deep he went at the tower. As you mentioned, though, yeah, he charges in, he is level 2 now, and now he has the Glitter Bash. So with the Glitter Bash, different story. Working on some random there, but with him joining, I do feel like Lifestealer should potentially have a decent time. And that leads us to the mid matchup, Ember Spirit versus Invoker. Early on, Invoker or Ember Spirit even has to have the slight advantage, 13-2 against Invoker's 11-0. But yeah, to your point, you see right there, Tornado comes out. Obviously, he didn't have Flame Guard up, but point is, that's something that Invoker will be able to use to his advantage, ideally, in that matchup. So possibly is just going to be a back-and-forth CS matchup, when you think about it.
Yeah, especially with the fact that he's going Quas Works again. He doesn't have that, you know, massive damage advantage that often you see Invokers get as they get the points into the Exhort. So I am curious to see how this goes. Honestly, I am a bit surprised he used the Tornado before the Flame got, but there we go. I finally saw the example of it. So our hypothesis about the mid lane was like, well, they're fighting here on the top.
Yeah, watching Jakiro being gone on. He just eventually flies away, though, gets some assistance from Spirit Breaker. They're contesting for the camp that's over here, and they still are, in fact, on either side. But Disruptor going to go get an auto attack, at least trying to deny a creep right there against the Lifestealer. Oh, there's that lift that we're talking about. So, yeah, Spirit Breaker does not have the friendliest charge game against that Glimpse, against that lift of Rubik. But, well, you know what? With Darkseer, that could change, though. He popped the Surge, and it's like good luck reacting to that in time. Them charging at you million speed.
Yeah, so with this tri-lane in the top here, it's going to be just a battle for farm for both these carries. But this does mean, oh, well, actually, as I was about to say, it means it's a farm fest for the Doom as well as the Darkseer. They've abandoned their tri-lane, and RDO, he's just gone bottom.
All right. Yeah, just says I got at least a level, I suppose, and wants to farm down here now. Yeah, pointing out only 12 and 4 CS at that top. So with this adjustment, we'll see how this works for him now, as Darkseer is going to continue the pulls going. He is well on his way to Mana Boots. He's already got the Soul Ring, of course. And I don't I don't expect Infamous to necessarily make too much of a change here. As I say, this Ember Spirit is running bottom. He has a haste rune, and they are charging.
Well, this is what I was gonna say, because you were happy to let the Doom farm, but now you see on the bottom lane, you see RDO, the Wraith King. He's the one you really want to shut down. So just bring in these heroes, and they tried to get the kill over to Ember Spirit, but it's stolen by the creep wave.
Yeah, that was the easiest easiest kill ever, excuse me. Well, I guess the easiest cast for us casters, too, as far as making that kill happen for Infamous. We saw it coming from a mile away. It's nothing really that Wraith King could do at that point. And I suppose Furia is just essentially accepting that this is going to be a horrible early game for the Wraith King, and ideally hope that he can recover once Doom and Invoker ideally open up some space throughout the map. But it's going to be that struggle life, and he'll even make his way to the jungle for now. See what he can do over there, as at least he is level 3 and has the 1-1-1 build going for him. Go back to the mid matchup, though, as you got Ember Spirit and Invoker, and Invoker taking a slight lead. Of course, Ember Spirit was busy getting that gank on for the first blood, so maybe not the craziest thing ever. Does continue to be fairly even, but yeah, Infamous has to like how the start's going, because really all 3 lanes are actually going pretty well when you think about it.
Yeah, the one thing I do want to note is that kill on the Wraith King couldn't come at a better timing, because he had already TP'd to the lane, so it means he can't TP to the tower to defend it, which is why it's gone down with that first catapult wave. And, you know, whenever they see that Wraith King, they're just going to keep popping the Iron Shield here on Schofield, but the charge into mid lane onto the Invoker.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a kill. Fire Remnants, he's got the Quas, the Ghost Walk in time, and it's going to be enough with the Magic Stick to stay alive. Jeez, yeah, that's Mini. Great reactions right there. To keep himself alive, they thought they had that kill for sure. Top lane, Lifestealer is run down though. That's our first Doom coming out, the ability itself. And they make the kill happen. Schofield charges in at the last second, but obviously way too late at that point. So they, FURIA, great turn. I mean, not only Invoker stays alive, but they kill the position 1 core on the other side during that time.
Yeah, both these carries being pressured really heavily. The Darkseer, however, over here on Whisper, having, you know, better than absolute free farm. He hasn't just been farming the lane, he has been farming the jungle at the same time.
Yeah, to my own point earlier that I was making, it's how all 3 lanes are going pretty well for Infamous. I guess it's not going that well for Lifestealer, actually. As I say this, though, they do kill Rubik. Rotation's coming in, double damage on Chris Luck. He wants a second kill out of this at least. Duster hiding in the trees, though. Schofield diving through. Really wants that kill on Schofield or somebody, but will they even get it? Now Schofield's in trouble. He goes down. The Sleight of Fist does eventually take a Disruptor, but man, this took a lot longer than they expected. So they get a couple kills in return, does FURIA. And Duster's sitting back laughing about it because he knows that they got the better of that exchange at least.
Yeah, they thought it'd be an easy kill on this squishy Disruptor, but yeah, just being so annoying, making the way in the trees, forcing so many people into that line, and then the rotations in from the Invoker just allow them to get those last 2 kills. And yeah, it's exactly as you're saying. This Lifestealer, he's been pressured. Both the carries here from both teams, actually. They are really the ones to suffer.
Iron Shell Surge, bottom lane, RDO. This is a solo Spirit Breaker. I mean, not really solo, let's be honest. He's got the Iron Shell, that helps, and it's eventually going to get the kill. Kinetic Field from Duster just doesn't complete in time, and Wraith King ticks down. So the Surge Iron Shell, we see the combo early on coming into play. You cannot get away from it. You need that supporting cast to be there a bit earlier to do so. So yeah, both cores are getting really not that great a farm. Net worth-wise, it is slightly better for the Lifestealer. So that goes back to where Infamous is feeling pretty good. As Mini, again with the Ghost Walk, they need to carry Dust, man. I think Spirit Breaker specifically needs that Dust.
Yeah, it's, I don't think he's going to get away like that again. I agree with you. It happens once, shame on me. Happens twice, shame on Schofield. So next time he should be bringing Dust. And it was actually, as you said, he was surged up when he went for that charge, and that's why he approached that mid lane at max speed.
Yeah, it happens so quickly. Chris Luck doesn't have a lot of mana to work with currently. No bottle charges, only 2 stick charges. We got 4, but he's going to be fine. Just Duster TPs in and harasses a little bit before that being the end of that exchange, and they're going to go over and pop a Shrine on the Dire side. This is a game, though, where the offlaners are going to have the high impact early on. Both Doom and Darkseer are top farm in the game right now. I guess then the argument goes, which is better for which team? Both bring their own assets, of course. I think Darkseer is more about the team to be useful with, where Doom is just more about he can just doom somebody to get a kill with, and that's pretty impactful, right? So
yeah, and it is worth noting that most of Doom's, well, not most of Doom's net worth, but a lot of it is coming from the Devour, because the Darkseer, you can see he actually has a very large experience advantage. I mean, part of this is because he's been left alone, but it's honestly just because he's farmed more. But as you say, the Doom having farm, it means you might be able to get a kill every 150 seconds odd. But the Darkseer having farm, you know, it's going to set up for more. You get these surges, these more powerful Iron Shells.
Oh, look at Darkseer. Nice tornado, by the way, from Mini. Again, I'm purging that off. The Surge away Whisper, but he's brought right back in. Get over your style from Duster. Whisper, Iron Shell once again applies. He's going for the turn kill on Mini. It still might happen. He's going to get it in the end. So Darkseer, that whole time, that was a good 30-second pursuit, it felt like, between the 2 versus 1. And, I mean, they get the kill, but Mini died in response, and now it's going to be a second kill, in fact, in response as well, as Chris Luck gets a solo kill on Disruptor as well. So, yeah, big picture, I think Infamous is overall not too shabby for them, I suppose.
Yeah, the micro there from this Darkseer, really nice work with his illusions, providing vision, and once again, we talked about this, Doom, every time it's off cooldown, they are pressuring this Lifestealer. But the surge in from Whisper already has that mechanism completed. It's going to be able to save the Lifestealer.
Yeah, they did not expect that. I didn't expect it either. Holy crap, that is a very early mech. Goes to show with his farm. Saves the day, at least for now. But Murdoch, he can still make another kill happen. Static Storm from Duster, securing that one on a Spirit Breaker. And now Stinger likely going to die as well. So they do get a couple of kills out of all of this, just not the prime target that they hoped for initially. in that Lifestealer. But Lifestealer staying alive, and he's able to farm more towards that Hannah Midas, which is certainly just about finished now. Just needs the recipe.
Yeah, both cores building the Hannah Midas. Hannah Midas Radiance, it seems to be the build for this game if you're playing the one position. And by the way, the Rubik over here, really nice spell for him. Having that Iron Shell allows him to actually increase his farm a little bit, as well as the damage output of the Doom.
Oh yeah, certainly right now in this game, I think it's one of the stronger spells that he can get. But as we say this, I don't know how useful it's going to be right here. Murdoch. Is that going to happen with Spirit Breaker? It sure is. Using that Nether Strike to push him right back in. The wall cut off, and they eventually conclude the kill onto Doom. Mini's going to throw out a couple of spells, turn into EMP classic combo. But just simply do that and not really even scare them off. In fact, they clear the trees with Stinger, using that Macro Pyre, and now the charge on Invoker. He's going to be bashed up after the fact. Chris Luck sitting in his face. That Ghost Walk ain't going to save him there. Wraith King also joining the fight late. That's going to be a Reincarnate pop for him. So long cooldown coming. Chris Luck heavily slowed. You see that Revenant taking forever. Are they going to go for another kill in RDO? He doesn't even want him. He wants others. Chris Luck gets a double kill. Going for the triple kill. Essentially gets it. Whisper credit for it. And it might get more into this now. RDO's dropping low once again. Chris Luck is standing his ground. This casual Javelin helping plenty. But with a buyback on Rubik, Chris Luck maybe running out of his luck here and try to just run away at this point. And he is going to do just that. Rubik cannot keep him locked down enough. Whisper, Surge to get away. Invoker's TPing in though. Tornado, is it long enough? No, the angle's just not there. Whisper dodges it, but Murdoch is still in high pursuit as you do have the cold snaps happening, and I think we finally have a kill onto Whisper. We sure do. Schofield charging back through though, now charging in on RDO. What is this about? Okay, well, maybe it was a getaway charge more than anything, but doesn't happen, and I don't know what to think about everything that happened, to be honest. That was just chaos all over.
That was absolutely crazy. This is, I mean, this is what we came for. This is exactly the style of Dota I've been looking forward to all day. Just diving this tower. I loved what the Jakiro did, by the way. He saw the Invoker TP in. He uses the Magpie not on anyone, but to literally just clear out the tree line so FURIA can't play in it like they've been doing before. And they go in, you can see they finally brought protection for that pesky Invoker with that sentry down. And Chris Luck, another kill over here onto the Rubik.
Yeah, this Ember Spirit's getting out of hand. He's already 5-0-3. I mean, net worth-wise, he's just up here with the rest of them, but this certainly is a great start for this Ember Spirit. And again, considering an Aquaspex mid-matchup against Invoker, I wouldn't be surprised to see him a little bit further behind, but being 5-0-3 has certainly made up for maybe a little bit of lack of CS from the earlier laning phase. And he's going to have a Maelstrom shortly right now. In fact, he's also going to pressure this top tier 1 tower with the Darkseer. And I don't know if they're going to defend this or not. They are somewhat in the area. Spirit Breaker is kind of zoning them out, though. Back charging mid. Going for Wraith King?
Yeah, they know he doesn't have his ultimate. It was clearly level 1 when he used it earlier on in the top lane, but it looks like not quite enough follow-up damage.
Yeah, not going to happen.
One thing they've actually doomed up the Darks here. We'll talk about this later if they are finally able to get this kill.
Trying to make it happen. He runs the other direction, says, all right, you got me. Just distract you over here. Yeah, Darkseer's 0-3-10. Oh, no, that's Spirit Breaker, actually. I have to click right now. He's 0-3-10. But anyways, he finds Wraith King again. It's still on cooldown with that Reincarnate. Level 1, it's a 200-second cooldown. So, exactly, they know they still have a bit of a window. And Chris Luck, he gets yet another kill as we hit 15 minutes now into this game.
Yeah, the side of Infamous, the amount of chase they have is absolutely crazy because you have the Ember Spirit who's caught inside the Static Storm.
That's a dangerous spot to be in, and Ember Spirit does finally go down. So a bit of a streak's up to nearly 600 gold going the way of Duster. He loves that. Money, 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 baby. Jakiro, he's going to throw down an Ice Path and keep on flapping away, but I don't think he's getting out of this one. He's going to eventually die, maybe get killed by the neutrals. Nope, Murdoch gets credit. And so initially it was so good for Infamous there, but that streak stopper, especially on Ember Spirit, and FURIA showing that they can certainly fight back when needed.
Yeah, I was about to praise the side of Infamous because they've been looking for these fights, and they have this constant chase. I mean, you have the Spirit Breaker who provides that deep vision, so you just follow up with the Ember Spirit. You also surge in more people with the Darkseer, but sitting in great position there to get that Static Storm on top of the Ember Spirit, so he's not able to escape with his spells. And I also wanted to talk about the fact, we raised this very poignant question when you had the Doom versus Darkseer lane in who would you rather have the constant farm? And I think the answer really, it seems to be the Darkseer because just the impact he's been able to have, it hasn't been every 150 seconds. It's been absolutely constant from throwing out iron shells, from surging people to safety, from surging people in. So it feels like the early farm of the Darkseer has done more, even though the Doom is #1 in the net worth.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning towards as well. The idea that Darkseer is more about the team, but as long as the team is active around him, which obviously they certainly have been, then it feels like that was going to be the better impact, and it certainly has been 4, 3, and 5 right now in this game. But Doom, as you mentioned, he is top net worth. He's got the Blink Dagger now, so wow, that's kind of crazy. He's used all of his drum charges already, and not even 16 minutes. I think he's had it for like 6 minutes or maybe 5 minutes even. So kind of shows you how obviously active this game has been. We have 25 hero kills in about 15 or 16 minutes, so it is pretty crazy with the amount of kills that are taking place. But something else we can't forget is this Wraith King and how he's kind of recovered. He's been sitting on a hand of Midas. He's got another 1,400 gold saved up. He is still slightly behind the Lifestealer on the other side, who's essentially going for the same build. But considering how the lane was going early on for him, I think it's actually not too bad for FURIA.
Yeah, but the major issue is you would honestly expect a Wraith King to be ahead, just because he has that farm acceleration of the skeletons. So the fact that he's behind is actually more telling about how the game is going, because you actually have that farm acceleration tool that the Lifestealer lacks, and you're still behind him. So it does actually feel a lot better for Infamous.
You have done the kingdom a service.
Spirit Breaker stopping that charge. Spirit Breaker choosing to max out Bulldoze first, by the way. Honestly, I'm not even sure if this is usual or not, but
this actually is the usual build. This is what we saw happening during the major. You go 1-4-1, as well as getting your ulti. So it's just really cool because the Bulldoze gives you that bonus speed as well as the status resistance. So even though they stun you or lift you, you're still going to be up in their faces because your spells are going to wear off with an iron shell in their face. So this is the usual build, but but every time you see it, you're like, it does seem a bit weird because you're like, surely more bash could be helpful. Surely a faster charge could be helpful. But actually just not being able to control and have that crazy status resistance is favorable.
No, I get it. It absolutely makes sense. It's a glimpse by the wind. Another strike. It hits as he gets glimpsed away. So a bit awkward right there. Stinger, the damage follow-up, it's obviously going to be delayed somewhat. He's trying, but Cold Snap's hitting. And they're going to get the turn kill on the Stinger most likely. Yep, the Tornado from Mini will secure that. So ambitious kill to make happen, especially with the glimpse taking place. And it does backfire for them. You also see a Blink just purchased by Rubik, by the way. So, has that Blink. Currently sitting on the Fire Remnant stolen for him as well. So we'll see what he's able to make happen with that at least. Darkseer, how's he progressing? He's almost got the, he has the Meg, almost at the Guardian Greaves. Another 1,100 gold saved up on him. So he is working towards the recipe. That's what he does plan to have next, at least. Ember Spirit's toying with him a little bit up here.
But I don't think it's a little bit of toying, just so much damage. He's continuing to pursue. He does have an Arcane Room, but he's not actually being caught inside the kinetic field.
No, he doesn't doom him either, but they figure he's dead probably? No, it's going to be enough. Murdoch gets credit. He just simply used the Inferno Blade, and that was enough. Now the Doom comes out, hits Lifestealer even, who comes into the fight late. So, yeah, Infamous, specifically Chris Luck, that really was a lot of tempting fate. I understand he had the Arcane Room, but man, he was really tempting it, and it bit him in the ass right there. Schofield, though, does not want this fight to be over. He's chasing forward, but now RDO shows up, and the kinetic field comes out. There's a vacuum pull-in, but it doesn't really do a whole lot. Schofield trying to run the other direction with the Bulldoze. It's helping out, and he gets away for now, but Jakiro gets taken out, and Haiku ends up finishing off Schofield anyways on that Spirit Breaker. Whisper, he knows he's dead, too. I mean, this fight didn't need to happen. Infamous really pushed way too much right there, it seemed like. And FURIA is just like, well, okay, thank you, we'll fight.
Yeah, I think it's exactly as you say. I mean, I understand the Ember Spirit. He felt immortal. He had an Arcane Rune. It's always fun to push your limits on mobile heroes like the Storm, like the Ember Spirit when you have that rune. But as soon as he went down, Infamous, they were given a chance to disengage, They used the Doom on the Lifestealer and FURIA. They were backing off. It was Infamous who went in. And then just some great plays from FURIA are able to turn it around. The Rubik, he stole an ice path, got a double ice path. Great kinetic fields here coming out from Duster, time and time again catching multiple people so they're not able to walk away. And you know, I'm looking at the net worth graphs, and it's just shot up for FURIA.
Yeah, it really does go back to how this is a great lineup against December Spirit. They final picked December into the Doom, into the Rubik. They got matched up into an Invoker with a response here. So we as great of a start this has been kill-wise for him, we are starting to feel that now. More so than the Disruptor is what I mentioned, because obviously the Static Storm, and even he didn't get hit by the Static Storm there, but it forced him to kind of run away into a position they didn't want to be and eventually killed off. In fact, speaking of Disruptor, it's a glimpse here on a Schofield, and that Bulldoze not going to do much against a kinetic field as he gets picked off. And 20-minute bounty runes will spawn. At least Chris Luck is able to pick up this one before it's taken. So it's going to be a 3-for-1 for Infamous, and in fact, another Arcane rune going to be bottled up for Ember Spirit as well. So that's certainly good news. We'll see. You know, make sure he's not as over the top this time around, but it is a very good rune to have with a hero like Ember Spirit.
Yeah, so Doom is... Wait, no, is Doom building the Ags? I see he has a point booster and something flying out to him on the courier. He's built a full Aghanim Scepter on the Doom.
What?
I need to think about this one.
So the idea that if he's near you, then it keeps lasting, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just surging away the Doom target every time. You know, the Doom target isn't staying in the fights. You know, they're either dead or trying to get away. Nice reveal, though.
Well, that's going to be great right here. I mean, that's an easy kill on Ember Spirit. That's, honestly, I don't even think he needs the Axe there to make that kill happen. But either way, they do get the kill. Vacuum in response. Murdoch, he's at half-life. Is it enough damage, though? It doesn't feel like it. He's a bit too beefy. Schofield trying to get that Nether Strike off. Unfortunately, lost traction of him, though. However, Infamous still wants to go. Even down a man, they still want to fight this. Disruptor eventually caught up to the stolen surge, though, from Raiko. Goes off, but the Disruptor is picked off. He buys back, though. Schofield finished him off with another strike, but now it's response time for FURIA, it feels like. Wraith King, he's getting low, has Reincarnate. Glimpse back on somebody off to the left as Lifestealer getting put back in, but now Wraith King coming back up with a Reincarnate. Rage battle. RDO does not want to fight this. He's caught with the Ice Path, and he will go down, in fact. So it proves to be a good decision by Infamous to fight this. That's going to be a dieback on Duster, by the way. So he's out for a full minute now at this point in the game. And FURIA eventually fully retreats as they realize it is too much, although they might not be able to as far as Rubik goes. Okay, yeah, he's going to make it back to base. And that finally will be the end of it. So very interesting sequence of events. I mean, you get a pick off on Ember Spirit. You think Infamous is going to not want to fight. Well, I suppose they did, and it proved to be the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, they just hit this massive timing. They hit the Radiance from the Lifestealer first. You'll notice the Wraith King, he doesn't quite have his. So Infamous, they just hit this massive peak. So they're like, even though we don't have the Ember Spirit, let's fight. And you called out in the middle of the fight, the Rubik, he had this surge. That's how they got the initial quick, speedy kill on the Ember Spirit. You know, the Doom blinked in while surged. But it just didn't matter because they're just going in with the Lifestealer and they're going to get another kill here.
Well, I mean, he is at their tier 3, so I'm a little worried for him. In fact, Doom comes in with a blink, stuns him in place, but the Infest on top of Whisper. They go for the Infest bomb and turn the vacuum, pull in. Mini, Macro Pyre, he's burning down. Static Storm, Kinetic Field trying to save the day, though, and it will just do that as now Mini turns around and throws out the meatball, and they get the turn kill on a Spirit Breaker. That's going to be a glimpse back on Darkseer, I believe. Yep, Whisper gets back in, but now with Chris Luck showing up, Sleight of Fist missing right there out of range. Going to come off cooldown quickly, though. Another Kinetic Field, zoning them out. There's a Sleight of Fist, and Chris Luck runs at Doom for the kill, so he's out for 50. As, of course, it's just a money issue at this point for him, but this is just one of those games, man. You kind of just accept that it's just going to be crazy nonstop action. This is SA Dota right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're almost doubling minutes for kills, so it's just so fun to watch. And the side of Infamous, what I really like is they realize they've hit this massive power peak. They feel like the side of FURIA, you know, they can fight into him. They can get these pickoffs. The Lifestealer, he is afraid of absolutely nothing with his Halberd already completed. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they look to continue looking for these fights. Maybe go for one more pickoffs, and then Roche is a very viable target for the side of Infamous.
I'm not one to question a level 25 top-tier player that plays Invoker by any means, but I would pose the question, is how I'm going to put it, in the Vela Discord, because it's the same thing last game, too. And I get the idea. It is a nice tool for helping to fight early on. It even could be assisting in some farming, I suppose, but he needs an axe. And this game, he is really feeling that. Not having an axe is a completely different hero with Invoker as far as being involved in these team fights. So it's maybe a hindsight thing to say, and I'm sure this is kind of just a comfortable build for him. But that is one thing I do look at right now and kind of think, if he had an axe instead of this Veil, how different things could potentially have been.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Just the ability to have more spells in a fight is something to be never underestimated. But while we're talking about questionable item builds, we were trying to talk about this Doom Aghanim before, you know, all that violence erupted across the map. And so, yeah, I mean, I feel the side of Infamous, you know, whoever you Doom, they're just going to surge out. So how is the Doom meant to stay next to the target at all?
So the one thing to keep in mind, it does now remove the positive buffs on the target as well. So I wonder if that's almost one of the reasons he got it too, to like almost use it as like a purge maybe against the Flame Guard. I mean that maybe the surge itself, I suppose, right? So using it on a target that just happened to get surged or currently has one active on them, and then trying to go for it. But you are right. It's like, did you really need it then at that point? Yeah, having surge feels like it is going to be a nice tool to counter that idea. I'm trying to be the positive here for it makes sense of it, but no, I'm with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to rush, at least in my opinion.
It's a very unique item, and you know, I would think it'd be kind of cool, you know, against someone. Imagine if he was up against a Bristleback, I would be all for it, or maybe even a Phantom Assassin. But here, I haven't quite figured out its utility. But maybe we'll see it while we have a charge in from Schofield.
Oh, he wants to. Another strike going to be canceled. That is a good point. It does break as well. So, Wraith King, he gets stunned eventually. Now RDO burned down. There's Reincarnate, level 2. Coming back up, 120-second cooldown now, and they're going to charge back in. They really want this kill. Can they get it? The glimpse back on the Spear Breaker. The Spear Vessel's up, and there is the kill indeed. Infamous just going to keep charging at Furia right now. Ags is finished on Invoker, by the way, so he does have that 2-second cooldown on his Invoke. Tornado coming out. Schofield might have went too deep with this. Bulldoze, I don't think it's going to save him this time around. Nice strike from Mini, but now Mini's stunned in place. These ice patches all over the place. Ice paths on the ice wall, I guess, as Lifestealer gets thrown up. Doom activated on Ember Spirit. It got almost to the tier 4 tower, but Lifestealer finishes Doom, and Ember Spirit just kind of walks away. So to your point, it's like, does it really do much? Lifestealer's still in? It's a buyback on Rubik. Mini's going to have to ghost walk away. They're just able to dive tier 4 towers at 27 minutes when a tier 2 tower is still up, for Christ's sake. And apparently they can get away with it.
Yeah, there's just no punish they have in FURIA. Then even not one of the craziest things that shows, you know, how strong Infamous feel and they are is the fact that they initiate on the Wraith King. They know there's a second life. They know the entire side of FURIA is going to be able to set up. They're not even done yet.
Why would they be? They got a BKB on Ember Spirit just coming out in full 10 seconds, but you know what? It's not going to result in more than the Duster kill, at least yet. In fact, he wants Mini still. Those Remnant out. RDO might die again. Yeah, he's actually going to fall on the Wraith King. Doom cancels the TP. He was thinking about TPing in to save the day, but obviously too late at that point. Yeah, really, you talked about it earlier with Lifestealer, the Heaven's Halberd. That certainly has been doing work for this Lifestealer. He's also level 22. That's something else that's kind of crazy. Like, yeah, he's 4 levels higher than anyone else in this game right now. Being only 28 minutes in, this Lifestealer is just way ahead.
Yeah, my real issue is it just seems like the side of FURIA that they no longer have the control that they want to put through this Wraith King. He's just been found out of position again and again. As a Wraith King, you know, obviously you feel like you are unkillable, but he's clearly not. And also, this Invoker in the mid lane, I know Mini loves playing this hero, but it honestly feels like he just has to run away from the Infamous lineup instead of casting his spells, you know, into this Lifestealer who has Rage, into this Ember Spirit who has now completed his BKB. What are they afraid of?
Well, you compare it to like a Thompson, you know, Quasfix Invoker especially. I think one thing that stands out to me whenever, you know, saw him playing even before the OG did, just watching his stream and just on some other teams here and there, was he's just so active with the hero early on. That's one of the reasons why he also rushes that Spirit Vessel, right, let alone the Urn, to just be so active and moving with the team. Frankly, I haven't seen that from Mini, and obviously the games are completely different and everything, but that to me is just another one of those biggest issues that's been standing out for FURIA specifically, in now back-to-back games. And again, the game state just hasn't allowed for it, I guess, although this game, it has been a pretty action-packed heavy game. But then I go back to the whole Ags point as I made earlier. So either way, it is going to be a Roshan attempt for Infamous, it looks like. And I don't think FURIA is interested in even trying to stop this right now. It's going to be a free one.
Yeah, they do manage to scout it out with the Sunstrike as it's falling, but you know, what does it matter? You're not in position to contest, and for the side of Fury, your only real AoE here is a Disruptor, and I just don't think it's enough at this stage because Lifestealer, he's probably going to get his rage up in time, and Spirit has a BKB, so he no longer cares about your control. And the charge over here, Mini, I don't know if he's getting out of this one.
Desolator on, oh, actually Ember Spirit might get doomed. So there's the doom. He got the BKB off first, so it helps a little bit. And he's going to just keep on running. There's that Surge. Guess what? Surge pretty good against an Axe Doom. It's almost like we talked about that. Murdoch, he's going to run the other direction with his own Surge thanks to Rubik. Sunstrike. Oh, no, it's not going down there. That's actually a big vacuum back here. Pulled into the wall. Static Storm Kinetic Field. Oh, stalling him slightly, but this Lifestealer cannot be stopped, it feels like. He gets a double kill, including a dieback for Rubik. So remember, he just got the Aegis as well. Now Mini. Okay, well, I guess they're not going for him. They didn't even realize he's here. They're going to go for Wraith King, and eventually Schofield catches up. Yeah, now with Invoker, though? Okay. Oh, he's in the area. This dust? Uh-oh. Now Mini's in trouble. Another blast? No, it's not going to hit with another strike, that is. TP's out. Okay,
yeah.
There you go.
So another great engagement there for the side of Infamous. I mean, they just chased, you know, FURIA, they tried to turn it around. They do manage to save the life of Mini, but Doom, you know, he gets the prime target. He gets the Ember Spirit, he has the Ags, Ember Spirit runs away, and he's just going to come back into the fight. And we're really just seeing the synergy between this Lifestealer and the Darkseer. The draft of Infamous, it's truly coming together. And I'm very worried about FURIA. They've lost their first interact, and I just don't know if they can stop losing more.
Yeah, hey, we are talking about some negatives for the side of FURIA, but you are right to certainly highlight Infamous and how they've played this game. And I still go back to, I mean, their 3 initial picks were fantastic, and you look at how this game went. Really, I mean, you think about the heroes that were very impactful. This is another just crazy fight taking place. Duster is going to melt in the midst of that macro fire, pulled him with a vacuum. Everyone else just follows suit. You got a BKB on Chris Sluck that eventually wears off, but they're going to catch RDO again and secure that kill. So GG's are going to be called. And Infamous will now be 1-1 here in the groups. FURIA going to 0-2. But to finish the point of, yeah, Infamous played this very well. You think of the impact of these heroes, and yeah, Ember Spirit frankly did have a much better time than I thought he was going to have. He started to fall off a little bit after this initial crazy surge that he had, but Darkseer and Spirit Breaker specifically, it's a crazy combo. They let them have this Darkseer after that Spirit Breaker Lifestealer opening. I think that was the beginning of the end for FURIA. It really was. And it made the game a bit easy, frankly, for Infamous in terms of the execution.
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, where we felt this game really turning against FURIA was that, you know, that top lane engagement starting all the way at the Dire tier 2. They just chase. Kill after a killer, after kill. They have the Radiance on the Lifestealer, and you're just not getting away from them because you have the Spirit Breaker, he's charging after you. You have the Lifestealer, he's surging after you. So they just have this insane chase potential. They identify that we are stronger than the FURIA lineup. We're not letting anyone get away. And then there's just nothing FURIA can do, and it felt like they were never able to show on the map because whenever they showed, they were being charged and they were being killed. And you know, I don't want to blame anyone, but I feel this Ags on the Doom was not a good purchase.
Yeah, there was certainly many more issues, but that was just one of several that really was a bit of a kind of want to maybe talk things over after that game and figure out what to do. Because the good news is for FURIA, you're 0-2, you're still certainly in it. Again, top 4, yeah, you just got to be top 4, whether it's first or fourth place. Frankly, really doesn't matter. I mean, it's a double elimination tournament that you make it into. Then getting at least fourth place is what matters. They still have a chance at that, certainly, as they got 7 or 5 more games to play in their case, I guess. But certainly need to tighten some things up. I mean, this is the qualifiers for TI9, man. This is where it really matters. You got to be playing your top tier game, making the best decisions. And it did seem like there was a couple off there for FURIA, but sticking to the positives for Infamous Gaming. Absolutely well played, and I'm sure they feel really good about being 1-1 right now in the group stages themselves. So another break will be coming up. We are going to be jumping into our next match of Team Ham, formerly Infamous. The European squad playing the South American qualifiers here. So just to clarify on that, Team Ham, they'll be going up against Gorilla's Pride in their match, and I believe that'll be the debut for Gorilla Pride here in these qualifiers at least. Or maybe not. They actually might be playing Ego Boys as we speak. So either way, we'll have updates there for you as well, but we got that match coming up next as I'm BreakyCPK, joined by Hasbaz. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. The TI9 qualifiers for South America coverage continues. We'll be back shortly.